gonna get potato, some of the roast, obviously that good gravy, and a carrot, and let's see how it tastes. Definitely worth it. That is so good. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make a pot roast dinner with all the trimmings. So we're going to start by searing our beef in the Dutch oven. We're going to cook it in this Dutch oven. That's why I'm choosing to sear it in here, because I want all that flavor to stay in this pot so I can cook it in there, and all that flavor is just going to stay right where it is. I have preset my stove to 350 degrees. And we're going to cook this for about 2.5 hours to 3 hours. We're going to slow cook it. Once we take the roast out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in some tomato paste. Then we're going to add some garlic as well. And then we're going to go ahead and add some wine. You don't have to add wine. This is for added flavor. If you don't use wine in cooking, just add some extra stock in it. But I wanted to use this wine up. I've had it for 1.5 years. I wanted to get it out of my fridge, and I do like cooking with wine. But if you don't, that's fine. Add some more stock into it. We're going to add in my homemade canned beef stock as well. That's about 2 cups. And then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and add some celery, carrots, and onions into this. Now, I didn't cut them very small because we're not going to eat these. This is just for flavor. It's there to add flavor. Once we have all this in there, we're going to give it a little bit of a stir to make sure everything's kind of incorporated. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our roast back in there. That way it can cook for a couple hours with all of these wonderful flavors. And the juices from the roast will end up making the gravy that much better. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. The reason why I'm making this recipe, I was watching Maddie Matheson's Something's Cooking or Cooking Something, one of his YouTubes, and he was making not a pot roast or pot roast. And I was watching that and I was like, oh my gosh, I could totally go for pot roast right now. So then I decided, you know what, let's go kind of take what he was doing and let's kind of make it our own, but go with the basics of what he was doing. So we're just going to take a little peek at the roast now, doing our first check. And when we do this, I decided, hey, you know what? I didn't add pepper when I put this in the oven the first time. So let's add some fresh cracked black pepper, a little bit of pep in there, give it a little bit more flavor. And then once we do this, I decided, you know what? I want to add some rosemary as well. Rosemary goes great with beef. I have some fresh rosemary in my freezer. Let's just add some of that in there as well, just to add a little bit more flavor, a little bit more dimension to it. I didn't add a lot of spices in with the roast, so I thought at this stage, it was probably about 45 minutes in, not even. Let's add a little bit more flavor just because we're making that a gravy as well. So let me go ahead and do that, and go move on to the potatoes. What I'm doing here is I'm using russet potatoes, and I'm just going to peel them and wash them really well. So we're going to go ahead and cube those. Then we're going to put them in the pot. And what we're going to do is boil them until they are fork tender. That's it. These potatoes have another step that they're going to do. So we want to make them only fork tender. we're actually going to be roasting these potatoes after they're boiled. So what I went ahead and did was when I strained out these potatoes, I kind of just what is it, fluff them up with my strainer to give them a little bit of fluff on the ends. We want that because we're going to be roasting these potatoes and we want them super, super crispy. So I roughed them up a bit. These are fork tender. We want them to be a little bit roughed up. And then we're going to go ahead and add some olive oil onto these potatoes. And this hopefully will get them crispy. You can use olive oil, you can use avocado oil, you can use butter, you can use duck fat, you can use whatever you want to make these crispy. I'm just using olive oil because that's what I have on hand. Then we're gonna go ahead and hit them with a little bit of salt and pepper. We're gonna go ahead and work on our gravy. Now, I am putting in some cornstarch and water. I have made a slurry and I'm just stirring that up. I have also added some spices to this. I did not record them because I didn't know my camera wasn't recording when I did this. So what I did was I added some basil salt. That's just an herb salt that I make. You can just go ahead with salt. Also, I added some lemon peel, dehydrated lemon peel for the citrus. I like that. I added some oregano, and that's all I put in there. And I'm just stirring it up with the cornstarch because I want to make this a thicker gravy, not an au jus, but a gravy. So I'm just checking to see what it looks like here. I've also cut up some carrots and I put them in the oven to roast with some salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder on them so that they can get roasted up as well. Look at how beautiful these potatoes are. This is what we want. We want them to be crispy and brown. Here are the carrots. All I did was put some olive oil on them, some garlic powder, onion powder, and salt and pepper. And we're just gonna let these bake, roast in the oven. Look at these potatoes. Look how crispy they are. They're like sticking to the bottom, but they look extremely crispy. We are now going to plate up this pot roast. We're going to put in the cubed up roast. That's what I did. I cubed it up. Then we're going to put in these crispy potatoes into the bowl. They are so crispy and then fluffy on the inside because of how we did them. We are also going to add the gravy to it on top of the potatoes and the roast. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and add the carrots. it tastes. So we're gonna get some of the roast in here on our pork. Okay, so we're gonna get potato, some of the roast, obviously that good gravy, and a carrot, and let's see how it tastes. Definitely worth it. That's so good. The roast isn't fall apart, which is nice. The potatoes are so crispy because we parboiled them to fork tender, and then we put them in the oven to roast at 400 degrees. And then the carrots just add a touch of sweetness because they're baked, and I usually put honey over the carrots after they're baked, so it gives a touch of sweetness. So it's just good. Definitely good. Love it. Definitely be making this again. I think when Terry gets home, he's gonna absolutely love this recipe. He's gonna love it. The gravy is just amazing because it's just a simple gravy. That's good. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen. I hope to see you in my next one. Like if you do, subscribe if you can, share if you want, and have a great day. Thanks, guys.